Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. A little Pariah up in this piece. In form of their, I got 6 on it. Yeah, this is a Hazie double IPA. We're not going to read the story time because it's in purple on purple and pink and orange and black and orange and purple. Those are words. Too much to read. It's a double IPA. It comes from Maryland. Or Brian from Maryland. Pariah, they moved from San Diego to Maryland, and yeah, he sends off beer every now and then. Thank you very much, brother. And this be one of those. He sent this off actually probably a couple weeks ago. Got a can on date of 2/3. It is 4/2. So we're talking about 2 months old. That's on me. I'll say 2 weeks old. Is what it is. But label-wise, little bubble graffiti art. Never gonna hate on that. Yeah. Extreme hop advisory. Good content. So I got 6 on it. I didn't know what that was from, and I was like, oh man, it's so familiar. It's got to be from something I'm not just getting. So I looked it up. I think it's from, actually, it is from New School Hip Hop. Nothing I'm familiar with, so that's why I think they're doing a little advisory thing down there. No practice is sacred. Drink within 90 days of date code. I think I don't want to see when this was sent out, because it might have been 90 days when I got it. Anyway. Yeah, it looks like it does have a soft oxidity of kind of coloration to it. Not too crazy. Rich turbid, hazy, just under index finger. The nose. Sharp stone fruitiness with a little bit of hop greeniness and a take that stone fruit, make it like apricot candy. It has that kind of sweetness. It's a little bit sharper, and there is a little carbonic thing going on, but it does come off as a confectionery, leaning into kind of hard candy kind of sweetness with a big, huge stone fruit component. So we're just going to dive in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah, that's like danger juice right there. I actually think this beer might have been a little bit kind of like better. And it's prime. You know, these big hazies tend to be better in their prime. Oh, it says that within 90 days. We're only 60 days out. This dude can't math. But man, this is kind of like old school hazy double IPA before like drop out all bitterness is kind of figured out, and I think it's on purpose, and I'm not hating it. Let's put it that way. So it's all the stone fruit are belong to us. It's really leaning heavily into that end of the spectrum. But like I said, it comes off as more of a candied, like candy ring mixed with hard candy kind of sweetness somewhere in between those two, as opposed to a soft kind of fruit juiciness, kind of stone fruitiness. Mouthfeel is dense, not fluffy, not creamy, not thin by any stretch, but not super dense either. It has this, yeah, I'm saying it's dense, but it's not that dense. I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of compartmentalize it. Potato leek soup. A little thinner than that. But what it has in this density to the actual mouthfeel gets kind of cut away really fast with the sharp kind of bitterness. It's got this cool kind of West Coast meets a little danky weedy, but very prickly, very tip of the needle kind of poke at you kind of thing. A lot of times some of these kind of West Coast hops or bittering hops can rake at you. You know, are very, very aggressive in that they kind of just really kind of dig their claws into you. If we're going to go really down a kind of comic book kind of thing, it's kind of like, you know, Wolverine kind of digging its claws into you and dragging through you. Think you're, you know, that person he's eviscerating as your tongue. That's kind of how a lot of West Coast kind of hops, these danky kind of hops, when they're pushed in that direction, kind of go. This is, what is it, X-Men 2? The one with the adamantium girl, I don't forget her name, on a big comic, and she's just 1,000 billion strikes. That's the way this kind of works. And that instead of being this kind of like drive in and just eviscerate your tongue kind of thing, it's just 1,000 pricks of that danky bittering as opposed to really trying to drag on your tongue. And it works really, really well because you have that sweetness of that stone fruity kind of candy portion of the show. It doesn't get overly sweet. It's double IPA. It's going to be sweet. No shit, Sherlock. It doesn't get overly sweet. Then you have that cool kind of really quick, prickly portion of the show from that danky kind of ranky, resinous kind of hoppiness on the other end of things. With the mouthfeel not being ultra dense, but still enough to let you enjoy it being this new school kind of double IPA. It really is kind of this cool kind of quick back and forth between that sweetness and that prickliness that is really the start of the show. I like this. I like this as a change of pace in the double IPA realm. You know, more often than not, the more innovation there is when it comes to these kind of big old hazy double IPAs, the less we end up having variants. You know, everybody hones in on this specific point they all want to hit, and everybody tries to get there the best they can. This is a little bit more kind of go by your own tune kind of thing. You know, it's not a beer I typically get nowadays. It's something, like I said, the beginning of old school, old school IPA, when there were, you know, the Fiddles and the Sunshines and the Alchemists of the world were doing stuff. This is the bitterness level you would get along with that new school kind of fruitiness, and you're getting that here, but in a very kind of new school hoppy fashion. These hops didn't really have this kind of boisterous, annoying dog in the background whining. Taco Bean. You want to say hi, Taco people? I haven't seen you in a while. Come here. Let's say hi to Taco. We haven't seen him for a while. Hi, buddy boy. Here's Taco. See, Taco, we have the shed, and Taco's not used to the shed yet, so I keep bringing him out here so he gets used to hanging out here. And he's just not used to it out here yet, are you, bud? So you'll get used to it soon enough, buddy. You'll get used to it soon enough. But it's also getting close to dinner time, so he wants to go inside and eat. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's a really fun beer, and I think it's really cool kind of beer in today's world that you don't really see all that often. You know, that kind of ultra new school sensibility with some really cool new school, old school sensibility, and a decent helping of old school sensibility, and a very fun package. I can see people not digging it. Mouthfeel's not super turbid. The juiciness isn't neither tropical or citrus. It's heavily stone fruit leaning. You know, the bitterness is very sharp and prickly. Like I said, that I find really cool, but people want that really kind of heavy palate wrecking kind of bitterness if they are looking for that. But I dig it. I think it's fun. One of the more interesting double IPAs I've had as of late, in a very tasty way. So there you go. Review in the books. Have you had this beer? Have you had this iteration? I don't know if they've made this previously. Have you had Pariah stuff? Have you had Pariah stuff since they've come to the East Coast? Have you been to the brewery? Can you go to the brewery? Is it even open on the East Coast to go to, or to just make beer? I don't know. All that stuff down there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Pariah right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.